Forces Motorsport racers are about to beat the lockdown, a frustrating time for them with the competition season likely to be delayed until COVID restrictions are lifted. So the next best thing, e-sport. Armed Forces Championship organiser Chris Slater is more used to briefing military drivers at circuits like Silverstone. But here in the garage at his home in Oxfordshire, he's practising for the start of a 10-meeting, 20-race series, which will take the drivers from Silverstone to Spa.
During the course of last year, a lot of our members and competitors invested in synthetic training and simulators in particular. We've built quite a community during that time, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to replicate the physical competition that we have using some simulation software to allow people to compete remotely, both esports members against physical competitors.
The technology for this series takes esports to new levels of virtual reality, using the kind of computer simulation Formula One drivers spend hours practicing with.
So we're using a software that's accredited by our national governing body. It's got licensed UK tracks, licensed cars for the best possible representation of the physical activity. We have some live broadcasts with professional commentators. We have live stewarding, there's a protest system, there's a license system to give it as much assurance as what we'd expect of our physical activity.
Unlike in the real championship, the drivers will be racing in identical virtual cars. Chris is the first to admit nothing beats racing for real, but the skills they'll need to succeed here will be tested just as much as if they were in their cars.
The software is not very forgiving at all, it's quite realistic. But what we're seeing is that people are joining, and those that come from gaming software, they transfer quite quickly because they understand synthetics, whereas the challenge for real-world drivers is to change their senses from physically sitting in a car to then using the force feedback from the wheel or from the pedals and the sounds that the simulation's giving you to provide the best inputs. Everybody's in a Mazda MX-5, so a small engine sports car. It's quite low power, quite low grip, which is just to level the playing field really for people that are just joining it quite early. It has an open setup so that you can configure it to different driving styles. The faster configurations are generally a bit harder to drive, but the camaraderie between the services is really strong. So we've been practicing online and we've been sharing setups between people to try and bring people up to speed.
The first races will be at Donington Park, with more rounds to follow at Silverstone, Brands Hatch, Snetterton, Spa and Alton Park. There are also plans for a rally e-championship and similar competition for the motorcycle racers. But by the time this e-challenge ends in May, it's hoped Forces Motorsport will be able to prepare for real events again. John Knighton, Forces News, Oxfordshire.